Hello, beautiful people. It is Noir, and welcome back to my channel. All right, so Twitter is once again doing what Twitter does best, and that is completely losing its mind around Stranger Things. And you guys know I love this show. It is one of my favorite shows, so let me put that out there first before y'all get in the comments acting crazy. I love Stranger Things, but we're gonna talk about Stranger Things season 5, volume 2 today. And man, this hasn't even had time to breathe yet, and the internet is already going crazy. Don't even open Twitter if you haven't watched it. Matter of fact, don't watch this video if you haven't watched it, because it's probably going to be some spoilers that I'm going to talk about, so don't even do it. Now, some of these takes I agree with, and some of them are kind of loud, kind of wrong, but are they though? So let's talk about the biggest opinions floating around right now, what actually worked, what didn't work, and where I land on all of this stuff. So let's jump in. All right, you guys. Now, the first thing is, was the ending too safe or not? This is probably the loudest take on Twitter right now, and on pretty much every social media. A lot of people feel like Volume 2 played it really safe, and that the Duffer Brothers really just didn't take real risks, especially with the major characters as it applies to deaths and just a slew of other things, but deaths specifically. And listen, I get where this is coming from. This is the final season. People, we expected some emotional devastation, some permanent consequences maybe, but no last minute type saves. And I know that the finale isn't here yet. It's coming soon, but this did not seem like the lead up to us having any of those things in this final chapter of Stranger Things. But on the flip side, here's my take on this. Safe does not automatically mean bad every time. I know we kind of get into the swing of things and we're like, oh, we want it to be this way or we want it to be that way. But I think the issue isn't that they didn't kill enough people. I think the issue is that the show trained viewers for years to expect pain, and then they pulled back on that at the last second. That emotional kind of whiplash, that PTSD from this show is what people are reacting to, including myself. So I might not be as pressed as most people about it, but I can understand where they're coming from. And personally, I think one or two choices could have landed a little bit harder. But I don't think a body count kind of equals good storytelling. I think we could still do good storytelling without that. But I am looking forward to maybe, having a couple character deaths that really can kind of cement the show. And I kind of have an idea of what that might be coming up in the finale. So if you think you have an idea too, or a theory, drop them in the comments. I want to see who's right and where the show goes for the next episode, which is the finale. The next take that I want to talk about, and that everyone is talking about, honestly, and I agree with some parts of it, is that Max's arc was really mishandled. And Max being one of my favorite characters in the show altogether, I have loved her performance all the way through every season. And myself and a lot of fans, we feel like Max's storyline lost a lot of impact in this volume too. Her arc felt a little dragged out for me. I think it was emotionally stalled in a way, or I don't know. We're used to more of a better plot device than this kind of character journey that they have her on. And yeah, I gotta be honest. I share those sentiments with the rest of the fan base. I think Max deserved more agency and not more suffering. In volume 2. The emotional beats were there. Don't get me wrong, they were there, but the follow through to me felt hesitant. The show kind of wanted to weigh off maybe what the consequences would be without fully committing to them. That's what it sounded like to me, and that's what it felt like. With that said, the performances were still strong. Our girl came through. I just love her to death. The writing just didn't always give her, I don't know, maybe the space that I feel like she needed or deserved. I don't think she got that one. So this one kind of hurts a little bit because the potential was right there. Oh my God. It was right there. And I don't think it landed, man. But, that's just my opinion. You guys let me know what you think about that. The next topic I've seen, oh my God, so much. I almost had to shut down Twitter the other day, was Vecna stop being scary. Now, I I am biased, okay? I'm just gonna put my biases out right here. I am a big P girly, okay? I'm a big Pennywise girly, and you guys already know since Welcome to Dairy Wrapped for the first season that there's been a lot of comparisons between Pennywise and Vecna. So I'm gonna try to keep my biases to the side, but no promises, y'all. But Twitter is kind of split down the middle on this. Some people are saying Vecna lost his edge in Volume 2. Maybe he had a lot more screen time than he should have had, or maybe too much talking or too much explanations. And honestly, y'all, that's fair. That's fair. I have never really thought of Vecna as a scary villain. Now he has had some moments where I was like, oh, okay, like he didn't come to play. You know what I'm saying? But I think in Volume 2, it really kind of toned him down, dumbed him down a little bit. He was less scary and more, I don't know, maybe attempting to be psychologically tormenting, but not really. I don't know. I don't know. The mystery is what made him terrifying in the first place for a lot of people, and for me, nothing did it. So once you explain a villain kind of too much, or have them explaining too much of what they're gonna do, the fear kind of shifts into something familiar. And with this show, I think that that's exactly what happened. I don't think Vecna became bad. I think he became kind of predictable, maybe. And predictability is the enemy of horror. Promise you. Look at how unpredictable Pennywise is. Okay, the only thing predictable about him is his laugh and his smiling and maybe dancing sometimes, but he's very unpredictable. But for Vecna in this case, it was still effective. I'm not taking that away from the show, as most of the fans kind of are not. They're just pointing out that he definitely is not scary in Volume 2, and it's definitely not as chilling as some of the earlier seasons. The next take, oh my god, I agree with this so much. I agree with this so much. I take full responsibility, and I agree with this take, and that is that the core friendships carried the season. The whole season 5, man, the core friendships, when I say carried, I'm talking about like on any video game. You just pick your poison. It carried. So no matter how you feel about the plot of the show, the character relationships are what kind of held everything together. Like that's it, and that's all. Even between their own individual storylines, them together is what held the show together, in my opinion. The quiet conversations, the callbacks, the scenes, like all of the personal scenes, like with Steve, and the personal scenes with just everybody, the group dynamics, we kind of watched them grow since season 1. And that emotional continuity that's the real reason why I think the finale is still going to work for a lot of people, even though they may not like what happens or how it's done. I think we can all agree that just the cast alone, that they really carried this. So for me, even when the pacing was a little bit uneven, because that was one of my big issues with season 5 so far, was the pacing. The chemistry was definitely there, and it was doing some heavy lifting, and that's where I think the heart of the show still lives. So can't be mad at it. Can't be mad at it. I know you guys, everybody wanted somebody to die, and I mean that's just how the show has been. That's how it's supposed to be. But you gotta give it up for the core friendships, you guys. Okay, let's get into the pacing. This is my big one right here. This is another popular complaint that I've been seeing a lot of, and I think it is 100% valid. It's 100% valid. Volume 2 felt rushed. It felt stretched at the same time. Some scenes lingered on way too long, like the scenes with Holly, while other major moments kind of just really flew by. And man, I really wish that they would have gotten this pacing down before everything else, before the extra storylines and the stretching things out. That imbalance is noticeable to fans, especially in a finale where every single minute of the show really matters. I think that they really could have done better here. I don't think it ruined the ending for me personally, but it did kind of burn the impact of certain scenes that should have really hit harder and didn't, because the pacing was just like wacky. This feels like a symptom of trying to wrap up too many threads at once. And, you know, a good example of that was the situation with Holly. Now, I'm going to say, I knew when they kind of put that whole situation in with Vecna or Henry, um, that I was wondering how they were going to like beef this up, get people excited about it, like really manage the storyline, and then kind of taper that down into something spectacular for the finale. And I can say I don't think they did well with that. I think they should have put more time into the main character storylines and maybe a little bit less with Holly and the kids. But I still love it, so I can't really complain. All right, you guys. My overall final thoughts is I don't think season 5 volume 2 was a disaster like some, most people on Twitter, are making it seem like it is. I think it was emotional. I think it was imperfect, and I think it was probably a little too cautious. Did it live up to every expectation? No. Did it still deliver meaningful moments though? Absolutely. Absolutely. We got some really freaking good moments out of that. And, honestly, some of these reactions feel less about the show being bad and more about people wanting to hurt them in kind of a specific way. And we see that with all series, especially on Twitter. So if you're a super fan like the rest of us, don't really take that personally. If you loved it, cool. If you didn't, that's valid too. But let's not pretend that, nuance doesn't exist. Right? All right, guys, let's not pretend that. Now, I obviously want to know where you guys land on this. Please let me know down in the comments. Did the ending work for you? Did it feel too safe? Which character arc kind of disappointed you the most, or which one made you the most happy? Drop your thoughts again in the comments if you enjoyed this breakdown. You know what to do. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!